my boo-boo baby's ready to go home. He's got some birthmarks and some issues from staining. So he was told to add a discount. I rooted him with Collector's Doll hair rooting, and now we just need to trim this stuff up so he'll be ready to go home. This is a Reborn Presley Awake by Bountiful Baby. I fell in love with this face, love at first sight, and due to the boo-boos, I'm not hanging on to him. He is being sold at a discount, but I still just absolutely adore that face. So his mommy does want him to be a little boy, so we're gonna trim the hair on the short-ish side, but we're gonna do that very incrementally, so not to cut off too much. He has curly hair, and right now it's kind of flat iron straight. I tend to flat iron curly hair when I'm rooting. I haven't sealed this hair just yet, because if there are any bald spots that are revealed after the trim, I want to be able to take care of those without having to fight the glue. So first thing I'm going to do is take care of this little hairline area, where it's very nice to see the short baby hairs. So I'm going to brush that section down into his face. Get some sharp hair cutting scissors. These are kind of sticking actually. Let me find another pair. There. Hair cutting scissors. And I'm going to very gradually nip away at this hairline. Kind of like cutting bangs. I always say when you're cutting hair to make sure that you hold your scissors vertically. You don't want to cut horizontally. That creates very blunt ends. You want the hair to look like it's never been cut before. So I'm just going to make my little nippy nippies around the face. His hair is curly, as I mentioned, so I'm going to cut it longer than where I ultimately want it to fall, because once the curls bounce back, it's going to look a lot shorter. Curly around the other side too. Right, very crude and dirty way to do it, but it's effective. Try not to cut too much, because that hair is going to be very hard to get back. Okay, so that looks nice and raggedy. That's always a good thing. So going to get this little sideburn area. Oof, stuck to a piece of hair. You don't really want your sideburns to go beyond the earlobe, so I'm going to nip them just about at his ear. And you might find that you want them even shorter than that. Still going vertically. Some nice sharp scissors. Okay. And I also want to angle this up. So this is the shortest piece. I want it to get longer as it reaches the top, but not any longer than the hair we just cut on the hairline. Okay. So there's my gradient. Try not to cut yourself, and be sure to cut little angles. A little zigzag, you don't want it to be cut straight across. Okay, hopefully you can see that. And I'll probably go back and trim that off some more, but that's good enough for now. Just trying to get oriented. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. nice and neat. Okay, so we want the hair to be longer on top. He's very front heavy, so there's a tendency to fall over. Longer on top than it is anywhere else. So now we kind of have to decide just how long we want it on top. He is a little guy, so I want it to look full, but not like we're gonna put ponytails in it. Alright, so I'm thinking for starters, about here, because this is also where the hair thins out quite a lot too. So having the hairs being close in length will create fullness in your haircut. So I'm just going to edge that off and get rid of the extra large pieces. Extra long, I mean, sorry. Okay. And then I'm going to trim the rest of it to a point. So I'm evening up the section that I just cut and lining the rest of the hair up to go with it. We want the hair long on top, short in the back. So we have to figure out how short to make it in the back. So I like to comb all the hair down from the crown. I'm actually gonna get my bear bristle because this hair is really thick, so thick I can't really get it with the baby comb. Okay, so everything from the crown back, I'm gonna brush right down over the back of his head. If you do use a bear bristle, be very careful because this can scratch your paint job very easily. So I'm using really light strokes. Okay. So on the back of the head, we want the hair to end at the neckline. That way when you put the cloth body on, you won't be catching hair and pulling it out. It's just very annoying, so we're gonna cut it right at the neckline. But again, I'm not gonna make a straight across cut. I'm gonna make a few passes, cutting it at an angle. So now I've cleared the neck ring. So I've got the hair on top that I've trimmed. I've got the hair on the back that I've trimmed. Now I need to line them up to each other. So I need the hair and the back to gradually get longer as we approach the crown. Okay. So to do that, I'm going to comb it up so I can see the length. This hair is so thick, I really need a heavy-duty brush to manipulate it. Alright, so my shortest hair is here. My longest hair is here. So I'm going to cut to a point. It's so much easier if I put them in my bowl. Let me see. Rooting bowls are very useful and you need to orient things. Okay. So I'm going to line it up to a point. I'm going to have to wash this napkin when I'm done. And then create that angled cut from where the hair is short to where the hair is longer. So with the hair comb this way, I can see that I've got a long spot here. Right, it's not meeting my shape right, so I'm gonna work on that for a bit. Okay, so I've done several passes over his head, trimming to a point, getting the hairs, you know, relatively even with each other. So Now what you want to do is to make sure, just comb over it in a bunch of different directions to make sure that you don't have sections that are discontinuous with each other. And by that I mean you don't want there to be a really big difference between the hairs that are short and the hairs that are long. They should be very gradual transition into those lengths. You also want to make sure that hair in a given section is pretty similar in length. So brushing it around will allow you to visually confirm that the hair is trimmed relatively evenly. And once you've done that, you can spray some water on it and see what these curls are going to look like. All done. He reminds me a little bit of Thriller era Michael Jackson. Do you see it? Very pretty hair. Yeah, you can see how it sticks up on top. Oh, I love those curls. Sticks up on top, nice and full on top. Nice and neat in the back. So cute. If you love his curls, definitely stop by my website. I have the list of all of my suppliers as well as pictures of dolls that I've rooted with different kinds of hair and all of my colorful commentary on whether it's good hair to buy or not. So definitely stop by my website and check that out. I'll post the link in the description of the video. And while you're there, you can also pick up a hair sampler so you can root a variety of kinds of curls and see which ones work best for you. So thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next time.